Okay guys, so today we're going to go over my Ryker Nylon Gear ankle first aid kit. Okay, I put this up in my EDC video, and I just wanted to kind of go into it more in depth because it's kind of a unique EDC item that I don't see a whole lot of people carrying, and it's certainly one of the more useful items, if not the most useful item you can carry. First off, I want to apologize for the dirtiness here. There's some dog hair. I have very large dogs, and it gets dirty because, like I said, I carry it every day. So starting off, it's just a very nice like nylon texture, like you'd find in any kind of like tactical pouch or anything like that. And it has Velcro closures on all the pockets, obviously, and then it has a boot extender, and this ships with it. So if you wear like riding boots for my motorcyclists out there, or cowboy boots, or duty boots for law enforcement, things like that, military. This ships with it. It's just a little elastic piece of Velcro that you can slap onto this end piece just about anywhere, and really kind of custom fit it to your calf or go over the boots that you have. So that ships with it. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this here. So getting into the first pocket, we have a wound stop pressure bandage here. And all of these items are in their own packaging to keep them sterile, obviously. And most, if not all of them, have like a quick tear in them somewhere, so you can access them very quickly. But it keeps them sterile. Okay, so we got the pressure bandage there, and then we have a TK4 tourniquet. It's a very basic tourniquet. These things are nice because they allow for pretty quick one-handed operations. I have more experience with the cat tourniquets, so I'll probably be replacing this with a cat tourniquet at some point. But this is certainly better than nothing, and it works fine. I just have more experience with the cat tourniquets. So you always have to have a tourniquet with you. If you have any kind of medical supplies, have a tourniquet. This will stop the majority of your hemorrhaging and things like that from extremities, and will allow you enough time to get to a hospital. And tourniquets are so easy to carry. I have one on a Velcro to my car visor in my car, and then I got one on my ankle here too. So you can never really have enough of these. This is probably the #1 tool that's saving lives across the country. Police officers around the nation are, finally in the last couple of years queuing onto these, and they're carrying, some variation of tourniquet on their person, on their duty belt or something like that. And it's saving a lot of lives out there. So if nothing else, if you ignore the rest of this video, get a tourniquet, put it in your pocket, and you'll have it when you need it. Okay. Next piece here, just a pair of trauma shears. Okay, these are very basic. They are used to cut clothing open to expose wounds, so you're not trying to pack wounds or dress wounds around articles of clothing and things like that. It's got that safety sear on the bottom of it here, so you're not going to cut anybody's skin when you're trying to cut their clothing off or whatever. It's kind of just a basic tool that you see in most trauma kits, and just a pair of shears here. So that comes with it. Okay, at the end pocket here we have a pair of nitrile gloves. These are very important to reduce secondary exposures to bloodborne pathogens and stuff like that. If you're working on somebody that's bleeding and you have an open cut yourself and you don't have some type of glove on you, you could potentially be exposed to whatever illnesses or diseases that person has just by blood contact. So pair of gloves, I mean, look, they're so small that you wouldn't notice them even if they weren't in a kit like this. So it's always good to have a pair of gloves around. Okay. We have some duct tape or medic tape here, basically used just to adhere dressings together and make sure they don't fall apart. And in a pinch, they could also be used as a chest seal. You seal 3 sides down above like a chest wound, something like that. And you could leave that other side open for ventilation, but this is a good piece of gear to have. Okay, then you also have some compressed gauze here. Okay, this is just your basic kind of wound dressing. It's vacuum sealed in here to save space. And again, it's got that quick tear indent there. This is what you'd use to pack your bullet holes or puncture wounds or whatever. And again, it's all sterilized in here. Okay, so that's what's included in the main compartments on the outside. If you flip this over, there's a slash pocket on the back, and in it, we have a twin pack of hyphen vent chest seals. Okay, so obviously these are the preferred method to clear up any kind of sucking chest wounds or anything that might have to deal with the chest. You put this over the entry and exit wounds, and then you can allow the lungs to keep functioning by, you know, ventilating air through the chest cavity. So this is really nice. It rides right in the slash pocket against your thigh. And, you know, obviously they're very pliable, so none of this stuff is uncomfortable. So I'm just going to kind of flip this over here and show you just in a lineup of what all comes with this kit. And when it's all lined up like this, you can see that it's actually quite a lot. So this type of stuff in this kit is what you'll need to fix probably 90% of the problems that you'll encounter in your day-to-day life. I said it before in my EDC video. You see all kinds of guys, really anybody that's into any kind of EDC, will have some kind of handgun and some fancy holster and a light. And you know, they'll spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to trick out their handguns, and then they won't carry any kind of first aid on them. So I don't know what they're expecting to do when they get shot themselves, or, you know, need to render aid to somebody in a firefight or something like that. But they're not prepared. If you're gonna cause wounds, you need to dress wounds as well. And that goes into my next point here. So I was in the Marines for 6 years, and during that time I took a combat lifesaver course, which is probably the most comprehensive course that I myself have taken. In that course, we went over, you know, how to put IVs into people, how to put NPAs or nasopharyngeal airways into people, how to treat for tension pneumothorax, you know, how to treat for burns. Just a really comprehensive course, the most comprehensive one that I've taken. I've taken, you know, other supplementary courses since then to just kind of keep me up on my knowledge and see what's new out there in the market. But if you don't know how to use this stuff, then it's not going to do you any good. Okay. So get a basic kit, something like this, or another, you know, pocket trauma kit or something like that to carry with you, and then spend your extra money on training. Take a course from any number of certified, you know, trainers out there that can teach you how to use this stuff, because just having it isn't going to cut it. Okay. You got to have the equipment, then you got to know how to use it. It's a two-part system. Same thing goes with firearms. You know, people spend, like I said, thousands of dollars on handguns and rifles and all kinds of plate carriers and, you know, cool stuff, and they don't spend any money on training. You know, they watch a couple, you know, YouTube videos or whatever of some drills, but unless you go out there and do it yourself, you don't really know what you're doing. So you need to, you know, spend the money on training, whether it's firearms, whether it's medical. If you have the tools, know how to use them. Okay, and I'll get off my soapbox on that. So this kit from Tactical Medic, just the ankle portion itself, not filled with any medical supplies, is around $50. Filled in with this basic accoutrements, it was $80. And then there's an advanced kit as well, which includes a couple more things, which I think it includes like a needle for tension pneumothorax and things like that. And that's $104-ish. I'll link it below in the description for sure, so you guys have access to that. But, you know, it's really neat. You just put it on your ankle, forget about it, and then go on with your day. And then you have it when you need it. So I'll show you guys kind of how it sits on my ankle now, and just kind of go over that and show you how really discreet it is. And we'll go from there. Okay guys, so here is the kit on my ankle, just under a pair of regular blue jeans. If you didn't know what you were looking for, you probably wouldn't even know that I'm carrying it right now. Okay, so as I pull up my pant leg here, you'll kind of see what I got going on. So the way that I wear this particular kit is I have everything on the back of my leg with a pouch on it. So I've got, you know, all the gauze and the shears and everything on the back portion of my calf, and the closure itself up front of my shin. And what that does for me is if I'm walking down the street or, you know, around my house or whatever, and happen to catch something with my shin, which happens more often than I'd like to admit, none of that stuff's getting, you know, shoved into my leg or something like that. So it's just a more comfortable way of carrying it, as well as if you pull your pant leg down here, the pants tend to hang differently on the back side of your leg. So it's a little more concealed that way. And generally the back side of your leg, where your calf's at, is the part that's facing away from everybody else. But it's really comfortable, and you really have to, you know, see it or try it out to really get a feel for it, obviously. But even with all the bulkiness and those bandages and things like that, I really don't notice it after I put it on. It's just kind of there.
So that's it, guys. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about or want to see anything up close or anything like that, just drop a comment below. I'll do my best to get that answered for you. And as always, just be prepared and be safe. Thanks.